Hello there and welcome to Papercrafting. First one on this new, fairly new art channel of the UKDM name. We are going to be today tackling the NX-01. I've put down the previous papercrafts that we've done on the other channel. They're up on the screen for you now. However, I will take you through some of the, I will show you the things themselves here. Obviously, we've got the USS Voyager that we've done. That was on the last stream that we did. We've got the USS Defiant, which was the first one I did on the other channel. We've got the Enterprise D. I think that turned out really well. I was quite impressed with the with the angles that we've got there and the shading and the highlight work, which was quite a challenge to do. And one that's not displayed is we've got the Enterprise D bridge here that I put together. That took 3 streams to do. So my plan is to I've got plans coming out the wazoo for all different sorts of genres when it comes to papercraft. Been handling a lot of sci-fi movies. Got loads of stuff in the pipeline. And I really like this format because it's a lot of fun to work with. It isn't nothing I'm doing is professional. This is just a hobby of mine that I enjoy doing. So we'll be tackling the NX-01 from Enterprise now in the same format. It is going to be facing this way. I've already done some initial work with the logo. That's going to be really interesting. That and the text will probably take a stream within itself. But we're going to be doing the majority of the ship today, hopefully. We've got a few hours, so we can crack on in just a short while. Then I'm going to be handling or tackling the Enterprise F. You might just be able to make that out. And I've put the I'm doing the text as the show that me and my my co-hosts came up with regarding the Enterprise F, the show called Startrek Odyssey. We laid out a first season. It was a lot of fun, and obviously I've decided to go with the Picard insignia. As much as I despise that show, the 3rd season wasn't too bad. So yeah, we'll be handling that in an upcoming stream as well. Lots of plans for the future with regards to paper crafting. As I said, it's something that I really enjoy. So we'll get cracking in just a moment. I do have some starfields that I made earlier. They're not ideal. They're not perfect. Some of the paint did sort of run. We've got here as well some rather large blobs that we'll have to sort out. And what I'll do is I'll just cover over the majority of them with as matte a finished pen as I possibly can with those. So we've got a few obviously set up and ready to go. The ship will go probably on this one, to be fair, because the ship will cover up a lot of the splatters that we have, so it looks like a rather convincing starfield. And it'll all be in there pretty much the same style. Now my plan going forward, certainly in the future, if this becomes popular enough, is that I will be looking to offer prints of what I do, but that's way in the future when I actually get around to starting that. Like I said, if it becomes popular enough, this could just be a hobby that is, that I broadcast to everybody. Let me know in the comments if the sound is okay. I'm just going to raise the volume a little bit to try and make sure that you can pick up everything that I'm saying and doing. So, without further ado, we'll get into the NX-01. I absolutely adore this ship design. It is, it's very basic and very simple, which is what it was needed for the show. I have spent a reasonable amount of time trying to source the right color card, because the other ships have all been predominantly one color. I'm going to be doing the NX-01 in the same shade as the previous ones. See how it looks, because I know the NX-01 is slightly darker It's a slightly more gunmetal grey than usual, but I wanted to try and keep it uniform as much as possible with the other pictures. I do have this shade, which I think might work better, but in all honesty, I like I say, I don't want to break from the design of the other ships, and I can always use this to add some depth to it as well. So let's get cracking here. I'm just going to bring up the image so I can get a bigger reference here. Where is it? Where are you? Where are you? You are here somewhere. Yeah. There you are. Right. So I've got my reference image. Now, I've flipped the image because I want the ships pretty much all facing the same way. So I've flipped the image, and we're not going to be handling, we're not going to be doing like the planet in the background or anything. That's where it all gets a little bit too complicated. In terms of the layers on the card, we're going to be using the ship detail to sort of accentuate the angles there with a lot of it, and we're just going to see how it goes, because these are always sort of an experimental project in that respect. So for example, there's a raised section here which you need to show a curve, so I'd probably get a black piece of card to show a shadow there, and maybe sort of pop that out a little bit. I'm just looking at the image, and I'm wondering if my choice of card color is right, because this might be a little bit too light. It might look better if I do it in this and then use this to highlight. But then there are darker shades around the front because of where the ship's been highlighted. This is going to be a tough one to figure out. Just trying to think of any more different shades of grey that I might have. I did pick up this card, which I'm not exactly happy with it. It is a patterned linen card, which I'm not too keen on. However, it is, I don't know whether you can make out, but the pattern on there is very much like a Borg cube. So I may be able to do some fine detail work and make a Borg cube. I think that is on the list of things that I am going to try and attempt. But in terms of greys, see what I've got in my scrap pile here. It's all pretty much lighter card. That's a little bit too dark, I think. So that's the Voyager print. This one might be better. In fact, that one might be loads better. Let's see if I can just bring this down a little bit. There we go. I think that is pretty close. I'm almost tempted to try that. Let's just get the other pictures here. You know what? That's not too bad, because the Enterprise is comprised of darker shades. I think that is going to be the one we're going to use, and I'll save this shade for any highlight work that I need to do. So if we'll just get this out of the way. If you are new here and you enjoy this stream, then please consider liking it and subscribing. You see, I've obviously cut out card from other projects. I try to save as much card as I can, because you know, doing this all out of pocket. And with this, you know, I'm actually able to do the entire ship. That's not bad. That's not bad. I like that. I'm going to go for it. So yeah, we've got the fine detail on the badge to sort out. You might just be able to make that out, and I've got to clean that up before I start transferring it and tracing, transferring it over from the trace. And we've got the logo. That's going to be some fine work. because that's really thin. So I'm going to be using the scalpel on that. I think this is a trace I used for a picture that I drew. I don't have it local, but it is the NX-01 that I drew. Did some fine detail work. That is available to view on the Discord. So I'm going to reuse this same trace. It's why it's a little bit darker, because I've already gone over it to trace it over to another image, for another image. So I'm going to use this, see if it transfers over well. Try and keep as much card free as possible. Don't think I can do it that way. And am I wasting more cards that way or that way? I think that's probably the way to go here. So we'll start with the basic outline of the ship. I'm just thinking, because I want the outline and I want to see where I'm drawing, transferring it that way might be better for the main external or exterior of the ship. Sorry, just thinking out loud here. Transfer the outside, do a bit of time. It's because it's already been used. It's tough to figure out what to do here. Let's see if it transfers. Let's try this bit over here and see if that transfers okay. That doesn't transfer at all. Barely transfers. Okay, yeah, well, that's made my decision for me. I'm going to use the incredibly small, ever shrinking pencil that I've got here. A little bit of a pencil sharpen. Apologies for the noise. Okay. So we'll start with the outside. We'll transfer it over. We'll count this as the reverse. I'll just write R on here as well for the reverse. So yeah, that's going back there, and that's going to go as far over as possible to save as much card as possible. Let's get tracing the outside. Move that out of the way to keep it clean, and I have a piece of card here that's good for like line of sight and eyesight and everything. So yeah, let's go for it. Make sure I cover all bases here. Sharpen again. Yeah, you can certainly see where it's darker, so that's good. only doing the outline here. I think that is now done. Yep. Now we want to transfer this over as bold as we can. We'll get it as bold as we can before we remove the tracing paper. So this should, we'll start here, and I'll try and keep the pressure down. So the lift test, yep, that seems to be transferring absolutely fine. I do with a bit more around here. You can, as long as I can go over the line with a lighter pencil, this should be okay. Yeah, that's transferring absolutely fine. So it doesn't need to show any of the detail yet, because we're only going to be cutting out the outside. It does give you a certain amount of arm ache after a while. I'd say that's sufficient. I'd say that's sufficient. You can just about make that out. So that's the main bulk of the ship transferred over. We're going to be using scissors to cut this out, and some proper fabric scissors. Love that sound. And we'll try to be as careful as we can, sticking within the lines as much as possible, trying to remember all of that primary school art skill that we learned way back when. What I am going to do very quickly is just give a little bit more light from the camera, and we'll go start making the cut. Try and keep dead on the line as much as we can. Line does become a little difficult to see. In this light. It's important that we stick to the lines as much as possible because they're going to be our reference lines. And something else that I always try and do is never use the end of the scissors to finish a cut because it tends to damage the paper. There's a little bit of a angle there. This is getting tough. Keen on that fold there, but the cell is a very delicate part to be cutting around. I was originally going to do the nacelles separate and glue them on, but I think this is fine. I'm just going to cut this bit off just to save it dangling about. Try not to crease too much. Straight as we can there. It's going to be the biggest one I've done so far, I think. I mean, it's beginning to look a lot like a starship. A bit of cleanup required there. Drifting ever so slightly on this. It gets hard to see the line. All the colours start, all the shades start bleeding into one another. It's important that the curves are right. Important that it's all right, to be fair. It's a lot cooler here today. My thermometer stopped working, so probably had too much yesterday. But yeah, it's a lot cooler here today than it was yesterday. I did attempt to do this stream yesterday, but nothing was working properly because it can get very hot up here. Of course. Hey, voila! We have a basic NX-01 shape, which is fantastic. Apologies, just checking something. Okay, so basic NX-01 shape is there. So let's see how it contrasts on the star field that we've got. Oh yeah, that contrasts really well. And of course, position-wise, we can accommodate, we can plan where it's going to go and accommodate the other things as well. It's not going to be exactly in the same position as this, or we can make it the exact same position just to help us a little bit, but the logo will go a little bit further up, which will be up there. Give it plenty of room then, won't it? So coolio. Okay. Right. Right, so the Enterprise has a different level here. It's essentially the same shade, but it's a big but. Do we want to make it stand out? Because it's got multiple layers to it, this ship. Sort of make the saucer slightly different shade. Possibly. Because, I mean, if you can layer the same card onto it, but it doesn't really pop the way you kind of want it to. A little bit limited on the greys that I have. That and that's the same color. So if I did, I don't know, the saucer section the same, that color, that look weird. That will possibly look weird. But we need it to contrast. Let me just have a look at my other colors here. So we have lots of other colours here. Oh, I'm destroying the card or the image that we just made. Let's see. We do have this shade as well, so I'm going to put that to one side because that looks interesting. We're not doing any glossy card. I don't like glossy card. I don't like the look, effect, and finish. It's going to be the same colour as the base colour. I'll try and get hold of as many different shades as possible, to try and give it a little bit of a well, a variety of different colors helps with a variety of different shades. Not too keen on one-sided color card. I prefer card to be universally one color throughout the material. This takes some planning, this does. I don't know, something tells me that's going to be way too dark for highlights. But that, to be fair, can be used to accentuate the front of the saucer to give us that offset of shade there. A lot of thinking going on here. You can hear the cogs turning. I definitely feel like I want to layer this up a little bit. You know, I really want to layer this up. I think personally, I believe that if we put this as a saucer highlight, yeah, and then go back to this and layer this on top, would that look right? I'm not worried about doing the same sort of highlights and the same sort of thing with the shading. I'm not looking at that because you look at the other images, they don't have that. But I'm wondering if I do want to highlight the source, the rays on the saucer, and how that's going to look. It may look a bit daft. That's my worry. I do have enough to complete the saucer. Yeah, I've got enough to complete the saucer. And we layer that back over it. It is drastically different shade though, isn't it? But it's also a drastic different shade if you do it with this, and I don't think it'll look right. And we do have this shade, which looks drastically different again. You definitely need more tones. So what are we going to do here? I'm leaning towards, let's just give it a go. Let's give it a go. We can always retry the saucer section in different shades, see what looks right. Let's just get on with it, shall we? Let's do the saucer section in this shade of card, and then overlay this shade back again over it. Let's do that. So we're just going to do the saucer section. So that means, I'll move that out of the way for now. You can go to the side there carefully. Yeah, let's overlay the saucer section. Let's decide where it's going to live, which is just going to be this section all the way around, and it's going to meet somewhere there. So if we do that, let's see how it looks. We don't have to finish on that. Yeah, let's do that. A lot of time is spent trying to make decisions, and that will shorten with experience, I believe. It might look absolutely ridiculous. could definitely do with some more tones of grey for these ships. Okay. Let's pick the best place we can do this without wasting too much card. I'm probably going to say it's looking to be about there. Doesn't take too long to transfer over, of course, so we can, you know, if we change our mind and make different decisions, or if I change my mind and make different decisions, it's not permanent until we glue something down. Even then, it's not that permanent. Yep, transferred over absolutely fine. Doesn't look like much at the moment, does it? Okay, let's stick as close to that line as possible. Making sure. I will do some cleaning as well. Oh no, there's a bit of a crease there in the card. Oh, I don't know whether I'm comfortable with that. That's a proper crease. Damn. You know what? I'm not comfortable with that. Let's see if there's somewhere else we can put this. Yeah, we can utilize that. That's damaged. In fact, I'm going to cut that off. Get rid of that because we don't want that. We don't want creases because they show up on the pictures themselves. Yeah. Let's transfer it over again. Let's start again because I'm not comfortable. Not comfortable at all. You don't put damaged bits on your pictures unless it's for a specific effect. Yeah, let's transfer in. Okay. Yeah, it's not advisable. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to go with a slightly different piece now, slightly different area. Yeah, no, I'll try to remember to check the card next time because I don't want that. I'll try and make these as high quality as we can go. I feel that I need to take a bit more off in the areas that I've not transferred graphite to. And I can always take a bit more off, but I think for the most part, this is all right. It's a bit straight, that is, isn't it? So let's cut in a bit more. Curve that around a little bit more. There you go. Right, let's see how that looks. And if we put highlights around here as well, because there's a lot. I don't know. I think that's gonna work. I think that's gonna work. We'll continue. So we're going to need you again. Let's see how much of this we can fit on there. I would say that's pretty close. Yeah. So we're going to go round here, around here, around here. Actually, we're going to do this section here, and around the back here, and then this section here, around there. Yeah. I think that makes more sense. And then we can highlight the front of the Xell pilot. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do that, shall we? Don't want to meander too much. I just want to get decisions made. Sharpening. I want to make decisions, clear and concise decisions. So yeah, we're going that way. So it's that way. So there. Try and keep the curves where we can. You get the pieces cut first. We can make decisions later about that, about what it's going to look like. I can even cut parts out of several bits of card. I know I don't like waste, and I have said I don't like waste, but I'd rather get this image right and it look right than, well, not. And we'll overlay and see how it turns out. Even if we have to have a little bit of artistic license while we do it. Yeah. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Let's just see how it goes. It's gonna go that way, isn't it? It's the same bit card, if we can. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Good enough for me. That's good enough for me. A bit further over. Get that there. That there. Card looks okay. Let's transfer over. I will be drawing things on it into it as well. Why using, well, say drawing, painting things onto it. I've got paint pens and different things like that that will make it certain areas pop, so you can do things like lights, because I'm not cutting out tiny bits of card and gluing them. That will get incredibly messy very quickly. Let's see. Yeah, that transferred quite well. Just go over a few areas just to make sure it pops. Yeah. I'm gonna chop this in half just to make it easier to maneuver the scissors. Maneuver. It's amazing when you're tracing with the thickness of the lines, just how much gets lost in translation. All the fine detail. You find the further you go down the image, the less detail you have. That makes any lick of sense to anybody. Oh, there's a little butt crack. So currently I've no one watching live, which is fine, because I mean I've got some obviously interaction on my other channel, because that's got well over 2,500 subs on it. But this channel is, I want to try and grow this channel, and doing it with Papercraft I think is a good idea, rather than putting it on the other channel, because then I can start to build an audience here. Usually I'm more talkative than this, but obviously no one's here, and I don't want to be caught talking to myself, because that is the first sign of insanity. Although technically I'm doing it right now, so commit me. Okay, Let's see how this looks. It's going to go there, isn't it? Ooh. Okay. Decisions to make, clearly, because that certainly stands out. Oh, that's not in the right place, though. A bit further down. Does it? Let's have a drink here. Does that? Now, if I again take it to another step here, if I then do the bridge in that color, and sort of same color as that, if I do the bridge, then make the bridge stand out, that might help, because the bridge top is actually it's a form of gold, isn't it? It's kind of got a gold tint to the bridge. And then we'll do the highlight colors as well. Do some highlighting on the nacelles. Make them pop. Maybe do darker tone on the impulse engines, because the impulse engines are here and here. Yeah. All right. Let's just go with it. It's coming along. It's coming along. Right. So move that shade out of the way for a moment, and let's get the bridge done. Because the bridge on here is actually a separate piece, so it's easy to track and trace. So let's do that. Let's do it. Is the right way around? Yeah, because it's the opposite. Lovely. Sharpening. General bridge area. Yeah. And then we can utilise a small piece of this. I do have more of this shade coming. I realise I've ordered the wrong card. I think I may have said that. I don't remember now. Let's get this bridge piece transferred, and we'll see how it looks. Again, we're just building the image, just seeing how it looks, how it translates to the different shades. I personally think that's all right. I think that's starting to look pretty good. Now we could go really wild here and go for a completely different shade for these bits and really make it stand out. But again, we'll just go a little. I'm not gluing anything down until I'm absolutely certain is what I want for the image. So we'll cut the bridge out. I'll say the bridge area, the bridge surrounds. I think with each picture, you're always learning something new. So I think we'll be all right here. I'm starting to, with graphite transfer, you do start, if you touch it too much, you do start to rub it away. Because all an eraser is it's friction. And your fingers do exactly the same thing. So I'm trying to be careful here, because a lot of that It's starting to fade. I mean, roughly, that doesn't look too bad. That's really starting to come alive. And if we do this center section, we even cut it off there, but if we do this intersection, I wonder what that would look like in a different shade. Maybe this. Ooh. Ooh. I hate to say it, but that might actually work. I'm kind of reluctant though, but it might actually work. We do the center section in this. Yeah, so around here, cut it exactly the same. I can always glue it together and then trim where I need to. And do this center section. Ooh, ooh, I'm having ideas. Right, let's do it. Reversed, yeah, it is reversed. So we go over this again. I don't need to go over the graphite because it should still copy over. We do this. That'll still copy over, and then we do this. Yeah, and we're just doing that center section. Okay, let's go for it. We have a plan, ladies and gentlemen. We have a plan. I'm a man with a bit of a plan. Okay, utilise this, but as little as possible, obviously. And it's that way, isn't it? So we have to do it from this direction here. Yep. So I'm just going to double check something. Okay. Still good. Yep. If you're enjoying this, by the way, please do subscribe to the channel, because there's gonna be an absolute bucket load more streams coming. I've got so much planned for this, because this is something I genuinely, hand on heart, I genuinely enjoy doing this. Oh crap, I moved it. I really genuinely enjoy doing this, so there'll be plenty more streams coming, and I'll be putting together videos based on these streams as well. I may do some ASMR content, I'm not sure, but yeah, if you enjoy it, let me know. Good lord, that's very difficult. I'm going to have to really press down on this to get it to transfer over. It's very dark. Yeah, I think you guys can see it. I might be able to see it if in the right light. It's always the problem transferring it over to something like this. Yeah, I can just about make that out. I've got to be really careful how I cut this though. It's really got to pop correctly in all the right places. Yeah. Oh, I used it anyway. Let's see how I get on with this. Right, I'm going to go over it again, just with the pencil. I have to keep checking something, just bear with me. Oh, my son's just arrived home. Bless him. Right. Okay, I'm back. Right, I'm going to go over this as best I can. Sketch over it. Just to make it so I can actually see what it is I'm cutting and where I'm cutting. To be fair, it might be an idea. Get this going. Yeah, go over that. Just using this front as a guide. Just so I can actually cut it, because it's very, very tough to see. I'm beginning to be able to see it now, though. I want it visible in most light. Okay. Yep, I can see that. Right. You go there. I'm going to cut this out. Again, just to give myself plenty of maneuverability with the scissors. Just about see that. I think colour-wise, the NX-01 is very different to the rest of the Federation ships. Obviously, because it was made a lot earlier, but it's got a very sort of brown tinge to the gunmetal grey. So I thought gave it a very unique look. And once this section is all together, it should resemble. It should. I can then cut it. You see, so it should actually start looking a bit like the NX-01. This is a different GSM. This card as well. It's a thicker GSM, thicker grade of card, as they say. Right, let's see how this looks. It may look a little bit strange, but roll with me. Just roll with it, and we'll see how it ends up. Does make it stand out a bit, which is fine. And I can trim it down there, but that is also going to go on there. What are we thinking? I'm not liking it. I'm not liking that at all. In fact, I'd much prefer that. I'm not liking that because it's just this standout tone in the middle of nowhere. I think I prefer that. And then lines that I draw in will have to, it'll have to, yeah. That was a nice, I think that was a nice idea, but I don't think that works. I don't think that works. We'll put that to one side. Away with you. Away with you. Right, we do also have something else I need to do here. Is position this for starters, because I need to cut the hole. The hole needs to be cut. I'll be doing that with a Stanley blade, of course. Being very careful as I do so. Yeah, definitely need to cut that out. Yep. So let's do that now. I need to draw out, need to trace over the cutout. Mr. Bridge, you can go over there. Let's try the darkest shade. I'm just going to lay some more graphite over that section. Make sure we get this lined up as correctly as we can, as close as we can. Yeah, and then grab the transfer ruler. And over it goes. This is important to get right. Use this because I'm getting old and I can barely see. Okay. It should. Safety first. It should now look a bit better on the background. Yeah, because that's, yeah, okay. There, yep, layered, nice. Yeah, And we do the highlights as well. What am I looking at? Okay. The drink. Yum yum. Yeah, I felt dirty saying that. Yum yum. Right, so highlights. Ow. Banged my elbow. What a silly sausage I am. Yeah. Highlights are going to be there. Yeah. So I think I'm going to put in, let's move this out of the way. Try and keep it together. Keep it together, man. I think the highlights are going to be here and here, very thin highlights, and then around here. So here, there. Let's get drawing. Let's get transferring that over. That I think is going to be a different piece of a different shade. Possibly the highlight shade there. So let's go. I'm just going mad with a grinder or something outside. It's really quite funny. Or a strimmer. Might be a strimmer. Really pushing the boundaries. Okay. It's important that these follow the arches or follow the curve of the outside of the ship and stay relatively We'll do some gluing together as soon as I'm happy about where it's sitting, where everything sits, and if everything's absolutely fine, we'll clean it up and then we'll glue it. Like the faintest strip that will. And I believe I'm going to do a highlight here as well. It's going to be thin. Okay. And we'll do a highlight here. Okay. Highlight colour. We'll come back to that. We'll come back to the deflector part, this part here, I think. Yep, that's good. Make this part. It's the problem with curves. You're always going to have a bit of waste of card. Yeah, that'll do. In there as well, we'll put these highlights in that bit of card in the middle, so we're utilising and not wasting much. It's going to be tough. Doesn't look like much. It actually looks like quite a mess, but I think we'll be all right. I can cut it and clean it up. I think when it's on there, I'll clean it up with a rubber. Okay, these I think are going to have to be knifed out. Oops, I destroyed the Enterprise. It's heavily damaged. I think I'm going to cut off a bit of excess here. And then I can cut it down if need be. This is going to be very delicate. I don't usually do the delicate stuff on the first stream. Okay. Trying to keep my head out of the picture as well, failing miserably, but I usually like cutting on the white piece of card underneath, but it's gliding quite well. Right, I'm also going to cut this with the knife as well. I think it will make sense to do that because it's actually quite small. And again, with all this, I'm just going to rub the pencil off while it's still attached. Gently though. I really shouldn't cut on that card. I want to try and preserve that card if I can. Just try and clean it up as much as I can without damaging it. Otherwise, that graphite spreads everywhere and you've got problems. Okay. This bit I'm going to use scissors to cut this. So let's get these highlight pieces out. Okay. That's going to very much look like an offcut, so I don't want to throw it. Again, we can always trim it down further if we need to. Amazing how much rubber is still left on the actual card. Oh. Okay. And finally, this should come out fairly easy. How did it manage to do that? Okay. 3 highlight pieces. This should also come out now. Oh, I didn't go over that with the rubber, did I? Oh, I do want a line to be retained. Okay. That out. Still connected there. And there. And there. Mm-hmm. Come on. Lovely. What do we think? I think scissors for this particular part. Nearly slipped there with the scissors. I'm drifting a little. Drifting a little. Brian. Highlight. We'll go there. Roughly. Strike him, Centurion. Very roughly. Right. Okay. I'm going to try and position these so I know I've got them right. So it's not, that's not actually right, is it? Then that highlight there actually cuts off there. Yeah. So we'll cut that off. That's why it wasn't making a lick of sense. And We'll cut off that corner there. And cut off a little bit more. There you go. And then should follow that round like that. Fandabby dozy. And then this should follow around like that. Well, all right. All right. That's not too bad. Okay. Yep. And then that will go over there like that. And then that will go around here. I think that's starting to take shape now. Right, so my God, I've been going an hour and 27 minutes so far. Okay, before I glue anything down, am I okay with everything? I think I am relatively happy. With the position of everything there. I'm also going to try and get the nacelles done today. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, okay. I think I'm relatively happy with that. Just needs a bit of adjusting when it gets glued. The highlights work where they work. That's pretty good. The deflector dish is going to be so small, such a small sliver at this point, but it will be sort of a brass colour. So I don't think I've got it. It might be like a brown colour. Shall we get sticking? Let's get sticking so it starts to take shape, because then I want to work on the cells a little bit and get some of these areas sorted as well. So as per usual, it is our friendly Mr. Pritt stick. I did try, I've got some different glue here, some tacky PVA glue. PVA glue tends to get a little wet though. I prefer to use Mr. Pritt. And it's messy stuff, or it can be, but to be fair, when it's applied correctly, it shouldn't be a problem. Let's move some of this stuff over here. That was a veer. My little pick here, just to try and smoothen it out a little bit, so we're not getting loads of swarf. Mr. Swarf. I'm going to need my tweezers as well. They are around here somewhere. They should be, at least. One thing I seem to lose quite a lot is my tweezer. From. Yeah, there they are. I see them. Right here. I'm just going to pop that lid back on for a sec, because I think these need a bit of a clean. Any extra bits getting in there. So tweezers always good to have. Save my skin more than once. So it is indeed that way. I'm just gonna apply a bit of, get some like graphite off that end. To be fair, off the edges as well. Carefully though. You don't want pencil standing out. You don't want any of the rubber mixing in with the glue, as it's likely to. So I just pop it on the glue, press it down, and then usually I just run my thumb, run it along the glue. It will start chopping into the glue, which we don't want, so we'll pull it away and try and follow the curve as best we can. That's now got a load of glue on it. I've actually got some on my thumb, so I'll get rid of that. I don't want to put any glue on the top. So that's got by the looks of it, plenty of glue on it. So then I'll just run my dental pick just along the edge, just to get rid of any excess, because we don't really want excess if we can help it. There's going to be a fair amount there, isn't there? Ow. Trying not to prod myself with it. I don't want to really spend too long doing this because it will start to dry, especially in higher temperatures. It's not too bad right now, but... And then I'll just take off the edges so you can get rid of any frays. And then we'll start applying. So I'm a bit annoyed there with that. Taking off this backdrop because we're actually losing a bit of a highlight there. Try not to get this happen. Damn. Get caught in a trap now. Continuously going over. Clean it up as much as possible and just go over that bit. Okay, I'm relatively happy with that. It's not too bad. A little bit of a fault here, but trying to just get rid of that. Okay, next bit of highlight. Is the right way, I believe. Again, get rid of the excess around there and apply it on there, like so. Make sure my fingers are as clean as they can be. I mean, they're not mega clean, because I've obviously done a lot of graphiting today. Yep, I'll get this out of the way as well. Okay, don't want to lose these highlight pieces. In fact, let's stick those on now because they're going to be the most challenging. So, because that's facing away from us, that highlight piece there that you can barely make out is going to go there. All right. And then the thicker one's going to be closer to us, obviously. It's literally just going to need the slightest bit of glue. Yep. A bit of highlight in there. Possibly the wrong way around though. Doesn't matter. And that one might be a bit too long and the wrong way around. That's probably better. Yep. Yep. And then I'm going to trim it. I say trim it. I try and put a notch in it there. Without cutting in the enterprise. There you go. Off we go. Bing. Yep. Happy with that. Again, that's the slightest amount needed. No big deal. Let's see how that goes over. Oh yeah, that meets that perfectly, look. Oh wow. I'll have to zoom in for you. Look at that. Perfect. Perfection. Okay. Now, for the saucer. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I tend to go quiet around this time. Let's get this glued up. And we don't go to the edge on this one. I'm gluing it up off camera. Because I don't want to get it near the picture. If we slide that in on there. It's shifted slightly. Trace has shifted slightly. Say more than slightly. I think maybe I'll put this on the wrong way. Come on, lift off. Lift off. I think it actually goes that way. Yeah, that looks better. That looks more correct. Okay. And then this bit's going to go over onto there. I always check the orientation of this to make sure I'm gluing the right side, because the amount of times I've gone to glue the wrong side. Thankfully, I think I've only done it once. It was only on a small piece that I managed to rebuild and save. I'm just move this up slightly so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just applying glue, so it's not that interesting. Oh, it's massively interesting. No one's watching, but doesn't mean you won't come back sometime and watch it post live. So there we go. Let's say about there. Slide that in there. Yep, and lift that up there. And I would say a little bit higher up. A little bit higher up again. Yep. Okay. Your bridge, yeah. The bridge is out. That's the right way. Yep. Flip it over. Apply some glue. Took it with it. It's starting to look a bit shapely, isn't it? I forgot to highlight, by the way. Leave it to go that way. Yeah. And again, where's my knife? There it is. Lovely. Get this highlight on as well. It's probably going to be how a little bit of a good example of how thin the Star Trek Enterprise text is going to be on this image. Yep. Okay. So nacelles, nacelles. This is going to have. It's on the edge. There. 3 blue sections there. I'm not going to be too fussed about how they look in terms of the angles, because I know that there's drills over them on the old the blue highlights. But as long as they're okay, I can always draw lines down them should I need to. And then we're going to do the Bussard collectors, the bridge and the outskirts. These. Yeah, okay. We have a plan. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a plan. Now, I'm tempted to section them off in a way on a piece of backing of this. In fact, because we're not using this, let's utilize this. And I'm tempted, right, to section them and then on a piece of card. And what I mean by that is if I do the card, if I do this, group them, on a piece of card, backing card, like this, really make them stand out. And I'll add a bit of complexity to the image. Yeah. And then if I do the same here, bear in mind, this is my interpretation of the NX-01. It's not, it's not going to be screen accurate. And then so it's going, yeah, this is the transfer side. So if we go, yeah. And we'll do the same here. Press down. I'm using a lighter grade of pencil, I know, but I can get, if I can get the line as thin as possible, I should be able to transfer it over and be able to see it on this darker card. So we're looking for this one, because we're not going to use this. I don't think. I think that looks awful personally. So yeah, we're not going to use that. We are going to use it for the impulse engines, and we are going to also use it for the for these nacelles here. So if I put that now the quote unquote correct way around. That noise was probably just someone in the house falling over and dying. And slamming doors. as is tradition here in Canada, which I'm not in Canada. So, yeah. A bit harder. Yeah, and then, yeah, I can just about make that out. This one follows the edge of the nacelle. Oh, I can just about make those out. So I'm going to go over them. I don't want to interpret the lines. I want to be able to make sure the lines are correct because it's really important. Now, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut the blue out. Now, I'm going to trace it over, cut the blue out, and build them on here, and then cut them out separately. Be easier to work with, I think. So, let's get the blue. Let's get the nacelle blue. Where are we? Oh, there's a fine magic. Here it is. And you see where I've cut out the Next Generation logo on this. Right. I'm tempted. Just do it on the edge here. Because if I cut 2 strips, don't have to be perfect. I'll cut 2 strips. Let's make sure that they're going to transfer over. It's blue, so it's going to be easier to see. I want to try and give them a chamfered edge. Make them stick out a little bit more, stand out a little bit more. And again, it doesn't matter if I use them the other side, because there's going to be a bit of graphite on here, and it's going to. Move that out of the way so we know where we're going with it. I can fit them on there, I think. Right, hold up. Let's do this. See where we end up. They're completely reversible as well. Yeah, that's fine. And then this. Yep. Very delicate vicineth. I'm going to zoom in for this one so you can see what I'm actually doing. Hopefully not cutting myself. Thinking it might be best to cut it this way. You can see, hopefully. I'm going to cut one continuous line. So all we need is it for reference. And try and keep it as straight as possible. Okay. And then I want that one there. Ah, damn it. That one there. That one there. Really went off the lines there. That one there. And that one there. And then this side. We need to stick to the line a little bit better this time. It's a bit better. It's going to be slightly thicker. Yep, and same for that. Same for that. That. Not there. Not there. And not there. Okay. That is now cut. That is. I need to cut in. Cutting. That's now cut. And that. That's a separate one, separate side. Flying. So we'll put that up there. Same with this one. It's a separate side. It's now loose. Stay. And this one's not loose yet. Now it is. Get rid of anything that doesn't belong. Oh, the things I do for no money. Right, let's build them onto here. Now this is going to be that side, and that is going to be that side. So the big ones, the big boys, are going to go there. Try and bring this into frame for you so you can actually see what it is I'm doing. These are going to go on the outside. Yeah, something tells me this glue is going to be, these are going to be tough to glue. You either get enough or not enough to stick it on, but enough to my god. So tiny. Okay. That's going to be the bottom one. Let's stick that down now. Yep. This is where it gets fussy and difficult because I want to try and keep one side out of the glue completely. Oh. Delicate. Very delicate. Okay. Get off. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I'll probably push them in a little bit. Just bring them to the edge. We don't really want any overhang if we can help it. This is going to be harder. Creased it a little bit. I don't want to try and avoid that if possible. Okay, how's it easier to do the smaller ones? Yeah, well, sod the dental pick. Just use some of that and then clean it up. Okay. Right, and whilst that's kind of setting, again, it doesn't look perfect under the microscope, but I think when you pull out, when you pull back, and we get these set on where they need to go, I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. Right, Bussard collectors. We want a red, so yeah, that'll do. Yeah, I've decided now with these, I'm going to have the Bussard collector's shape, which is absolutely fine. That's what I want it to be. And I am going to cut these out here. Yeah. And hopefully that will translate well onto the card. Rather than overlay more pieces of card. This is Bussard collectors from Voyager, look. Yeah. And they're that small. Alright. Let's do one. Might be able to hear my boys actually. Now that the other ones come home, they are rather loud. Okay. Cutting on this again, aren't I? I don't want to be doing that. Especially not the finer cutting that you have to do. I think they've missed each other, bless them. Oh, I realise you're not actually seeing this, are you? So sorry. Right, so this requires a bit of cleaning up. It's very small to clean up, but it's not very thin, so it should survive a good rubbing. Okay. Just going to give this a general tidy up. It's still within its stencil, so it should be okay. Oh, away with the Bussard collector. That won't fly. And on different areas that this can go wrong. Fantastic. Right, so now these have had a chance to dry. Cut these out as well. I'm going to go along this edge first. Nice and close, but not going into it, hopefully. Let's move it a bit closer so I can see what I'm doing. Let's take a bit more off if need be. I'm going to try not to make them too oh, they're veered off a little bit there. I don't want to make them too thin. Veering, veering. Ever so slightly. And with this, again, I want to keep to the blue as much as possible without veering. That's better, I believe. Okay. Oh, and the cell bit's cut. Crikey. That was that's crazy. Right. So the larger, so this strip here is going to go onto here, like so. And then the little Bussard collector. I love that. Bussard collector. It's going to go there. Like that. Yep. And then this one is going to go out there like that. Yeah. Probably sticking over a little bit, I would say. And then the large Bussard collector is going to go I believe it's going to go there like that. So yeah, not too bad. Right, just want to confirm that I've got that the right way round. I believe I do. Yeah, I do. Okay, so again within the cells, I'm not too fussed really. Whereabouts the warp coils end up. I just want to make sure I get enough glue on it for them to stick. And I'll do this Bussard collector as well. And make sure that roughly matches up. Well, I mean, it does and it doesn't. I think. Yeah, I don't think that's right. I think it's got to go further up because it's in the center. There. That's better. I think that's better. Yeah, that's better. Right, so this side is going down the edge like that. Okay. So again, let's just get the old glue on it. It's a little bit, maybe. I'll bring it to the edge. Sod it. And then the Bussard collector again. Bring that down a little bit there. Yep. Maybe a bit further in. Yep. Coolio. Okay. Impulse engines next. Slightly running out of time. Suffering heavy network issues. Haven't caught up with 10 forward. Oh, bless you. Good place. Thanks for coming on. This other channel of mine. Impulse engines there. So get those cut out next. Little sly on time. Probably got about another 20 minutes I can stream for. I'll be coming back to this tomorrow, by the way. I've already planned the stream for tomorrow. I shall schedule it in. I shall hopefully complete this image. There'll be a lot of drawing I have to do on it. Initially, to finish the Enterprise off before I do the lettering. The lettering's got its own form of challenges, for sure. Again, let's just go back to cutting it with the knife. I want to get this right. It's going to be the impulse engine on the right side. This one's going to be the impulse engine on the left. Not too fussed about graphite being on here. Thank you for liking the stream. It's very, very, very good of you. Appreciate that. And really got to learn to put that blasted lid on. Yep, so that goes that way. Just going to meet that edge. Should at least meet that edge. Maybe push it out a little further. Okay, let's get it glued. I'm glued. Push it out a little further. Make it pop out. Lovely. And this side. Just double check that matches up before I apply any glue. Yep. Near enough. Yep. That's those. Right. I need a brown colour for the well, like a complete disaster here down here. There we go. Go for this colour. Yeah, that's as close to gold as I'm going to get. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so everyone can see. That's that, and I would say just opposite, if we draw them in. Still here, my lads going at it. Probably on a game or something, I would imagine. I'll try and bring that down a little bit more if I can, and then I'll do like one there, and one tiny one there. Yeah. I'm really tempted to really make that. Yeah. Okay. Let's see how it goes. See how it goes. We're going for here. NX-01 will be a big project. Any plans after NX-01? Oh, mate, there's loads of them. Loads of them. I've finished what I'm doing here, mate, and I'll take you through them. I'm going to end the stream in about 10-15 minutes. That's because we're going out. I want to make sure I'm not rushing around. But yeah, there's big plans. The next one is the Enterprise F. From I'm gonna do it from Startrek Online, but obviously from our show Odyssey that we made up. I think that'd be really nice. Then, crikey, I think the Enterprise refit I'm going to do as well. And then at some point I'll do the NX-01 refits, the Doug Drexler version. Again, I'll zoom in so you guys can see what I'm doing. Right, so this one here, I want to try and angle it to make it as close as possible, to make it look like an angle. It's a little bit out of line, but again, this GSM is quite thick. I'm having to apply a lot of pressure. Watched Babylon 5. There are many similarities between it and DS9. Yeah, the lawyers noticed that as well. I personally think Deep Space Nine is better. I just do. I just prefer Deep Space Nine. I've not really watched too much of Babylon 5. But I mean, I've really got to watch. I've really got to catch up with it. And watch it. But Babylon 5, I believe, is on the list of Papercraft, so should be interesting. Getting rid of the pencil, you know, after I've cut it out, but before I remove them, is so much easier than having to worry about flipping them over. There's always one little thing that hangs on. Ugh. I'm gonna need a new scalpel soon. I can see the blade just ever so slightly moving to the left. I can feel it as well. I think it's the grip. I might just glue the grip down or something. Right. Let's get these glued on. There you are. There you go. Right, so the right angle one. It needs to be flipped over. That's it. I need to go a bit further up there. I think that's roughly about where it is anyway. It might be a little bit out. Yeah, it's a little bit out, but it's fine. I'm happy with that there. This one. That way. This is starting to dry out. Yeah, that's fine. The impulse engine is a bit wrong, but again, doesn't really matter. The S9 is better, but Babylon 5 fumbled its execution because of studio interference. I would have to agree with that. Studio interference is the worst kind of interference, man. It's awful. But I mean, sometimes you can keep like creators in check, and they're important to have about, obviously. But I would also say it's a mixed bag. Probably a bit further down. Or it's all right, exactly there. And one more. Going to go towards the back. Afternoon, DM. Afternoon to you too, Mr. Bromby. Glad you're here. Although you are a tad overdue. I say overdue, like I expect you to be here. It's not that. It's more of I am I'm about 2.5 hours in to this stream, and we are going out very shortly. So just to make you aware, I'll send that a bit further down that way. It's always nice to have you here, sir. The NX-01 I think is going quite well. I made some interesting choices. I kind of had to with the different shades and tones that I've got. I'm also thinking of doing the bridge in this colour as well, because it is actually, believe it or not, that colour. So let's do that. I've got another couple of minutes I can work on a bridge. I will be back tomorrow to finish this off. So I'll be doing a stream tomorrow to make sure that this gets done and finitoed. It's going to be interesting because there's actually still a lot to do with this one. I want to try not to make it 3 streams, but I make no promises. Depending on how long I can stream for tomorrow. I won't be on till about 1-2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we've got some rounds to do tomorrow. Let's get this cut out, shall we? How are you, Stephen, anyway? I seem to have caught the end of the stream then. Towards the end, yes, definitely. I'm not going to be live for much longer. I just want to try and get as much done as I can. And fit, just tomorrow's stream, I'll probably start by cutting out the lettering, getting that done. Then I will probably draw in the rest of the detail on the ship itself. Thank you so much, by the way, for changing, coming over to this channel. I know it's asking a lot of people, but I just want to try and consolidate my work a little bit. Consolidate it to a new channel. I'm not interested, like I say, in monetization in terms of yet. If that comes, then that comes. It's not something I'm particularly fussed about at the moment. DM, enjoy your holidays. You don't have stream every holiday? You don't have a stream every holiday? No, I'm not on holiday anymore. I was. I am actually back at work now. It's just obviously a Saturday, so I want to try and get some of these streams done. And you guys stick around to the end of the stream. I'll let you know what it is in the pipeline, because there's a lot. There's a lot coming. I've taken some suggestions and some requests, but I've also, oh dear, there's a lump behind there. Entire lump of glue. Don't want that. So yeah, I'll let you know in a second what my plans are. A lump of glue. It would need to be a lumpy bridge then, won't it? A little bit further up. You can always draw some extra lines in there. Okay, let's zoom out. All right, let's get the space backdrop that I'm going to use, and there we go. There we go. There's going to be a few more details to add, I think, and some lights and windows. I shall add some windows. I'll paint some windows in, and what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to draw in the hull lines. So you can't really tell there. I've locked the image in place as well. Hold on. So as you can see here, there's hull lines. So I'm going to do that as well. And I'm going to flip the image. So the Enterprise lettering is backwards, but that doesn't matter. I'm also going to put a dark strip under here, probably out of this shade, this color shade here, and we'll do that tomorrow. Put the NX-01 writing in. Draw up. I'm going to put a light source here, like a blue circle here, which I haven't got time to do right now, but remind me tomorrow and I'll do that. And then yeah, we'll draw in some of these lines and hopefully it'll pop out. So it's not looking too bad. I've still got the deflector dish to put in as well, and some highlight there. But yeah, all in all, I think that's all right. I've got to really sort of crack on because we'll be going in half an hour. That's a really good render of the NX-01. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's coming along. Some nice highlight work here, I think. I'm quite pleased with that. And then, like I say, we'll continue this tomorrow. I do have the insignia, the patch. I think there you go. I've got the Enterprise patch. That's going to be interesting to try and cut out. And I've got the Enterprise logo text there, which is going to be white card. For the first time I'm using white card. That's going to be interesting to cut out as well, to see if I can get it get that looking letters backwards. Why? Because I flipped the image. Because the original image, the ship's going the other way. So I flipped the image because I wanted the Enterprise to go this way to match all the others that are down there, because they're all facing the same way. So I flipped the image. But when I write it, when I write the insignia here, it's going to be the right way around. Okay, okay, so plan. My plan. All right, I hope you're ready for this, because I've come up with no end, and there is no end to this. I will keep making stuff like this. Okay, so my plan is in no particular order. However, there is a little bit of an order if you're looking, if you're wondering. It's big. Yeah, it is big, but to be fair, where is it? The Enterprise D is big as well. You know, it's just there's more surface area, so yeah, it's all right. So the NX-01 is this one. Then I'll do the 1701, and that will finish the series. The main 5 series. Then I'm going to do the Enterprise F. All right, so that's also going to happen. I'm going to do the Orville. That's going to be coming soon. The Protector, the NACA Protector from Galaxy Quest. The Event Horizon. I'm going to do an LCARS display. I'm going to do the refit of the original Enterprise and a refit of this, but I'll do it from underneath. Starbug, the TARDIS, ships from Alien, the Nostromo and Sulaco and stuff like that. Serenity, a proper Deep Space Nine, a Runabout, Red Dwarf, Independence Day Fighter, Terminator 2 Skull, Impala suit from Supernatural, Back to the Future DeLorean, Batmobile, not sure which one yet. Probably the Tim Burton one or the Tumbler. Metal Gear Rex, Millennium Falcon, X-Wing Harry and Marv's van from Home Alone. You can do that one as well. Battlestar Galactica Babylon 5, a lightsaber fight silhouette perhaps. 18 van, the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy. Klingon Bird of Prey, Klingon Bird of Prey, Romulan Warbird, a Lord of the Rings Type 1. Papercraft, I was thinking real challenge. You know, I could probably by then do it as a really long stream. I was thinking the Matrix code would look really cool on a black background. Spider-Man, maybe the X-Jet from X-Men, the Mystery Machine. My kids want something SpongeBob related, and I think Lightning McQueen might be a good one to do from these So yeah, there's loads of ideas and there's loads of streams. I've got about a year's worth of streams in Papercraft there. So yeah, I will be back tomorrow, probably the afternoon, to get this NX-01 finished, get the patch and the lettering done, and hopefully it'll be all right. That turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I'm still not overly happy with it, but it's not too bad, I suppose. It could be really better. The Winchester's car, yeah, that's the Impala. So yeah, Supernatural. What from Supernatural? Yeah, the Impala, the 1967 Chevrolet Impala. Yeah, I shall do that. Anyway, guys, I've got to crack on. Mrs. wants to come up and get changed, so I will catch you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for watching, everybody out there. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then please do. And I will be back tomorrow. Take care, everybody.